3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. I can't believe it is almost the end of June. In about 2 weeks, all of our classrooms in Canada, the US, places like the UK, and Europe, they will be out for the summer. We'll take a little break, and then we'll come back in September with another pile of live lessons from all over the world for your classrooms. In the meantime, though, we are not yet done for the school year. We still have a couple more fun events to wrap up this week, and then we even have a couple more events sneaking into next week. Next week, we'll be live with the One America's team, who are currently sailing in a sailboat around both North and South America. It's going to be an epic 14-month journey. So we're going to catch up with them in the Gulf of Alaska, and they're going to be releasing a swift buoy, which will be really cool. We'll see how the team's done since they've left British Columbia. We'll also be live in the field again with my good friend Joe Cutler, who is out on the Kabopo River in Zambia. And so he's going to join us live from the river where he's sampling fish biodiversity. So we'll see what his team has been up to in the last week. We love virtual field trips here. We love getting out into the field, exploring new places, and bringing those to classrooms. And today's is a really, really exciting one. I'm really excited because we're going to hop on board Canada's only research icebreaker, the CCGS Amundsen. So they are just about to depart for a journey of 5 months into the Arctic. This is a 98-meter long vessel. It's specially designed to navigate its way through thick ice. There's going to be upwards, I don't know if on this journey, we'll have to ask, upwards to 80 passengers on board. It's got incredible equipment to measure wind, currents, air temperatures, collect species and specimens. And so, yeah, from June to October, they will be on this epic journey in the Arctic, and hopefully in the new school year, we'll get to maybe connect with them while they're out there in the Arctic. We'll see. So right now, I'm going to go to the dock. We've got Veronique and Judith with us. They are the science comms team for the Amundsen. Let's get them in here with us right now. Hey, Judith. Hey, Veronique. How are you?
Hi, good. And you?
Awesome. It's so great to have you joining us right now. I know you're in Quebec. What part of Quebec are you in right now?
We are in Quebec City, just near the Chateau Frontenac right now.
Oh, very cool. Can you see it? Can you give us a spin around?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Very cool. Well, look, we are so excited for this virtual field trip today. It's a really cool way to end the school year for classrooms. I'm going to let you take over for a little bit. Oh, and I should say that there might be some pauses as you're navigating to different parts of the ship because it is tight. There's some, stairways and things like that. So we have to make sure that you're careful and concentrating as well. But we are so excited to explore the ship.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. So right now we are in the mobilization period. We have a lot of scientists coming in with their boxes, with their microscope, all their equipment, and everything is coming on board to be ready for the 5 months expedition. We are leaving this weekend for the Saguenay Fjord. We're going to test everything on board, and then we're going to leave for the 5-month expedition on June 27th. So we can start navigating in the ship. Follow us.
All right. I love this as we're going on board. I can see the big maple leaf up there. I like that. A nice Canadian ship.
Yeah, I'm going to start right ahead in the front deck where all our big equipment are. So when we are on the ship and there's actions happening, we have to wear our security boots, and we also have to wear hats. But right now, nothing is happening, so we don't need any hats.
And by hats, is that hard hats, like the little
Yes.
construction? Yeah, very
Yeah,
cool.
helmet. Yeah, exactly. So here you have our ROV. So it's a remotely operated vehicle, and we use it to explore fragile habitats, benthic ecosystems underwater. It's a pretty big equipment, and we deploy it in the water, and we can keep a connection with this big orange cable all the time. We have pilots on board that are maneuvering the ROV when we do dives, and sometimes these dives can length for 8 hours. So it's a really big job for them to pilot this for 8 hours. We have here some pilots that are preparing for the expedition this year. Hi guys, we're on live stream.
Hello.
So on this ship, we also have a lot of containers that we put on board, and we can put all our gears in these containers. It can add a lot of lab space also for the scientists on board. So we have here our big A-frame, which is the thing that help us deploy all our nets, our box core, our piston cores. So these are instruments that we use to collect fishes, planktons, sediment. We also collect corals, sponges. I can show you one box core if you'd like. So these two big things are called box cores, and we use it to collect sediment, so mud underwater. And when we come these up on the ship, there's a big box of mud, and scientists collect in various ways the mud for their science objectives. So some of them just collect a little bit of mud. Some of them pick big carrots, big cores of mud, and they use it for, let's say, incubations, something like that. Here, you can take another quick look on the front end. Okay, so we're gonna go in the moon pool. I'm gonna show you where it is. Yeah. On the ship, we have doors like that keep the water outside of the ship and not inside. They are pretty heavy. Yeah. We're now entering the ship. So here we have the moon pool. The moon pool is a hole in the ships. And in this hole, we can deploy some instruments when we are surrounded by ice. It's really unique. It's the only Canadian ships that have this thing. So this thing opens and we can deploy instruments down there. So fun facts, we also have for the first years of preparation in 2003, some seal coming up on this hole while we are operating.
All right, that's really cool. Do you know what species of seal it was?
No, I wasn't there, unfortunately, but no, I can't tell.
That's still pretty cool to have that visitor come on board.
Yeah, and it's nice that it wasn't a polar bear.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna go upstairs, and I'm gonna show you one of the typical room for scientists because when we are on this ship, we live here for 28 days. So we have to have some rooms for us that is comfortable and where we can work too. So since we are almost 80 people on board while we're doing an expedition, we have to share rooms. So we have bunk beds. On the ship, we have 6 floors. So right now we're going in the fourth floor.
One thing I'm noticing, which is very important on all the walls, is spots you can grab on. If maybe there's some rough seas, you kind of have that way to kind of grab on, make your way more safely down the hallways.
Yeah, exactly. We can have some waves that are 4 meters. Yeah. So here's one of the cabins that we have for scientists. So we have here bunk beds with curtains here, and it's really comfortable, although it's small but comfortable. We have also a sink, some wardrobe spaces here, and we also have offices to work while we're on board. Here we go, and this one is really great because we can have a window on the front deck so people can see what's happening right there on the front deck that you just visited. Okay, we're just gonna go out downstairs again, and I'm gonna show you one of our lab space.
All right. I have to ask, as you just passed by there, was that an elevator? Is there an elevator on the ship?
Yeah, there's an elevator, but it's only for to transport big things.
Gotcha.
We don't use it. No, we have to climb upstairs and downstairs every time we want to walk on the ship.
All right. Cool.
There's wood everywhere on the ship because, of course, we are Canadian.
And as you're making your way through, I hear noise. There's definitely probably a lot of work going on to get the ship ready.
Exactly. We have some workers here to prepare the ship. There were some changes that had to be made on board to make sure that we're good to go. Now it's finishing. I hope it's gonna be finished. So here we have one of the many lab space that we have on board. It's called the nutrient laboratory. So people use it to analyze and filter water. We have Fatma is right here preparing our stuff. Hey Fatma, are you ready to on board this year?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you preparing
For the analysis.
Okay. In the water sample.
Yes. So we took from the Rosette and we here so we could calibrate our data with the sorry.
With the instrument.
Yes, but it's in the Rosette already.
Good.
You guys have been in the Rosette, right?
No, not yet. But we're
Okay.
gonna go to the Rosette. It will be our last stop.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Fatma. On the ship, we also have some spaces where we can relax and have some meetings. So it's called the crew lounge. I'm gonna show you what it is, and after we're gonna go right to the area. It's a little bit dark.
On voit bien.
We have couches, we have tables to have meetings and chats. And we also have a baby foot. Want to play on board?
Those couches look pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
We also have a bar for bar nights, but it is a dry ship, so we still use it just for karaoke nights and quiz nights.
All right. That's pretty common on ocean research vessels that they're dry ships.
Yeah. We need to work, so it's normal. Have chefs for us.
So Veronique, I'm not sure if you can hear me right now, but I think because you're so deep in the ship, the connectivity's struggling a little bit. Okay, so we're just gonna have to pause for a second because they've gone quite deep into the Amundsen, and I think the connectivity is just struggling a little bit. So we'll have to wait a moment. Looks like they're in kind of the galley area. Can you hear me now, Judith and Veronique? Oops, looks like we lost them totally. Here, I'll come back on camera so we're not just looking at the space in behind. So yeah, we had great connectivity on those first few decks, and especially when we were outside. But I think now that they've descended into some of the deeper parts of the ship, the connectivity is struggling a little bit. So we'll give them a minute to come back in and join us. They should notice, Judith will probably notice that they've been kicked out. So they're going to have to follow the link and come back in. But we were just in probably one of the most important parts of the ship, of any research vessel, and that is where you get the food, where you get the grub. So we can see the tables there. Obviously, there's a kitchen. And I remember from my time, I spent 3 weeks on board the exploration vessel Nautilus on an ocean expedition off the coast of California. And the food was so good on the ship. So I think it's really important when people are working really hard, working long hours, that they're fed very well on that ship. So hopefully we'll see Veronique and Judith come back and join us again shortly. In the meantime, if you do have any questions about the Amundsen, don't be shy to put them into the chat, and then we will work in some of those questions. Yeah, but with any luck, maybe they're making their way up to a higher deck so we can get that connectivity back. But it looks like they were just so deep in the ship. My guess is that they were using maybe the cell network, and they just got so deep into the Amundsen that we lost that connectivity. I can see someone's asking about the moon pool. So it was a little hard to see what the moon pool was all about because the hatch was closed. But the moon pool is something that can be opened up, and then it's almost like a small swimming pool within the ship. So they can drop things from inside the ship right into the ocean water and collect things, collect samples with that. So that's used for two reasons. If the weather was really rough and they couldn't launch something on deck, then they could potentially use the moon pool, open it up, and it'll be much calmer. They can put instruments in that way. And then if they're surrounded by ice and there's no way to drop something into the water to collect samples or do some tests, well, they can then do it that way. They can open up when everything around them is completely closed up. So with any luck, we're going to see them come in and join us shortly. Hopefully they know that we've lost that connection, that connectivity. But yeah, they got kicked right out of the call. So we're going to take a moment here and see if they come in and join us, because I want to see what the Rosette is. That sounds pretty cool. It would be nice to get back up onto the deck and then get a chance to fire away with some questions, because yeah, it's always good to have that nice Q&A time. So Quebec City, in the shadow of the Chateau Frontenac, days away from a 5-month journey into the Arctic. I'd like to know a little bit more about the food that they're bringing on board. Can they get resupplied? So we're going to get all of those questions answered once Judith and Veronique are able to come back in and join us. But they did get kicked out, and hopefully they realize that they've been kicked out. They should be able to see on their screen what happened, and hopefully we'll have them back in with us shortly. If for some reason in the next couple of minutes they don't reappear for us, oh, I think I hear them. Here we go. Hey, Veronique, hey, Judith. I think we're a little too deep in the ship. We lost you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oops.
We're just gonna change the camera.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You should be able to find it under the settings, and then it can let you switch between the front and the back. But we figured you were climbing to a higher deck to get the signal back.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna go at the bridge, which is the part where the captain is working and all the officers of navigation. Sorry for the signal. When we were downstairs, the signal is pretty weak.
That's okay. It's not the first time we've been out in the field and the signal's gone away from us. So that's normal here when we're in cool spots.
So the bridge is already up.
Sorry.
We're just gonna stay here. So when we're at the bridge, we stay pretty quiet because we don't want to disturb everything that is happening here. We're gonna show you the view. So right here, we can see the front deck. And we can see the operations that are happening while we are on the ship for the expedition. And right there, you can see the chair where the pilot is piloting the ship.
Attention, maître d'équipage, comme les grosses.
That's really cool. And as members of the crew, are you allowed to visit the bridge on the expedition as well?
Yeah, sure. We can visit the bridge, but yeah, we have to stay silent or quiet to not disturb them. People are really friendly here, so we can go wherever we want.
That's good. Well, that view looks incredible and obviously
Yes.
very important when navigating a ship that size.
On a trouvé du gasket chez les gens qui ont tapé. Donc,
Thank you. Oops.
With our extreme. This is Alexander, colleague.
Hello. Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, so it's raining right now.
Yeah, we're gonna catch a little bit of rain to go to our last stop. Okay, so we have a gym on board. So we can still work hard, work out, and stay in shape while we're working also for the operation and for scientists' purpose. You can see we have everything that we need here.
Okay.
Here will be our last stop. So here is Amelie. Amelie, can you explain where we are right now?
Sure. So we're in the Rosette hangar. So this is the Rosette. It's a very famous instrument in oceanography. So with all these water bubbles here, we can collect water at depths in the ocean. So we can go up to 2,000 meters, 3,000 meters, even deeper than that. And underneath here, we have many instruments, such as this one measuring currents in the ocean. And we have salinity, temperature, so many parameters that we can measure, and that scientists, they take this information with them, they analyze the water that they get in the water bottles, and yeah, it's a big part of an oceanographic campaign like that.
Thank you, Amelie.
You're welcome.
So here was our last spot on the Amundsen. Do you guys have some questions or some places that you would like to see more?
Yeah, well, I know we're definitely have some questions. So if you're tuning in via the chat sidebar, don't be shy. Send questions in via the YouTube live chat, and we'll get those answered. And I think those bottles are really cool. So just so for the students is you can control them from the ship, right? You can open and close them at different times, different depths.
Yeah, exactly. So Amelie is also a Rosette operator when she are on board. And on a specific software and the other side here, she can just fire bottles. So when we're firing bottles, we're closing the top and the down of this bottle so we can capture water at a specific depth.
All
So
right.
this one here is open right now, so the water can flow into it. And when we close it, it automatically closes like that. So, like,
Okay. Very cool science gear. All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's get some questions that are starting to come in here. We have a few questions that came in about the ROV on the deck. So a couple questions that came in were, how deep can it dive? And then how much does it weigh?
So the depth depends on the instrument that are on the ROV because of the water pressure and because of the cable. So the length of the cable is around 200 meters. So we can go to 2,000, sorry. So we can go down to 2,000 meters depth.
Okay, 2,000. I was going to say 200. That doesn't seem too deep, but 2,000. Yeah, there we go. 2,000 meters.
Exactly.
That's
2
pretty cool.
kilometers.
Yeah, awesome. And then you mentioned a couple times a team. So how many people does it take to run the ROV?
There are 4 pilots to run the ROV, but a lot of other people come in to help them, other technicians. So I'll say around 6 to 7 people just to be sure that everything is working well. But when we deploy the ROV, we also work with the crew deck from the Canadian Coast Guard. There are 3 people and they help us to deploy and recover the ROV of the water.
Okay. So Caesar would like to know, do you have a favorite place on the ship?
Yeah, my favorite place is right here because I'm also operating the Rosette when I'm working on the ship. And here we can have the best view from this operating room. And I can work while watching the waves and the ice also around the ship.
All right, very cool. Let's get back into the chat here and see what's coming in. Okay, this is a good one. So it's a 5-month journey. Are you taking all the food you need or can you get resupplied?
We're taking all the non-perishable, all the food that conserve well. We're taking everything on board for the 5 months. But every time we have a crew change, so crew change are all 28 days. So every time we have one, we'll bring new vegetables, new fruits, and meat to be able to have everything for the new crew that is coming on board.
Okay. And so that new crew, do they just meet up with you on another ship and it's kind of a transfer?
We meet up here in Quebec City.
Okay.
And we take a charter flight to go in communities up north. And right there, if there's a dock, the ship will be waiting for us at dock. And if there's no dock, we'll use the helicopter on the ship to fly the crew out of the ship and the new crew in the ship.
All right. Well, let's stick on the food subject because I think students always think about food. Would you rate the food good on the ship? Do you like the food on the ship?
Yeah, it's really good. We have also options, vegetarian options and meat lover options. And the chefs have their certification. So they are real chefs on board.
All right, that's great. I was lucky enough to spend 3 weeks on an ocean research vessel, the EV Nautilus, Bob Ballard ship in California, and the food was incredible. I wasn't expecting it to be so good.
Yeah, it has to be because we are on the ocean for 28 days and we are all really hungry because we work hard. So yeah, we are lucky to have these chefs on board to feed us.
All right. I love this question because over the last year, school year, a lot of people in our lessons have mentioned eDNA, environmental DNA. So Julie's wondering if you're going to be collecting those samples.
Yeah, sure. We have some scientifics that are working on eDNA. One specifically that's going to come on board for the leg starting in July 10th up to August 8th. So this scientist will collect water sample here and a lot of water to help him filter it and also afterwards identify all the genomes that's warrants in the water that we collected. So there's a lot of eDNA work that is happening here on board. We also use a drop camera and a baited camera to see if the eDNA that we can see in the water will match everything that we can see in these footage of the cameras.
All right. Well, I hope that come new school year that we can connect while you're out on the expedition, because I'd love to see some of that drop cam footage. And I know the students would think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, sure. You can follow us on Amundsen Science social media, and we will make sure to collect footages and make a beautiful video for you guys.
Excellent. Another question about the impact of the ship. Are there things that you do to try to limit your impact in the Arctic?
Yeah, sure. So we don't dump anything in the water. We keep everything on board and bring everything here in Quebec City to make sure that we are limiting everything that we're doing for the environment. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Let's see, back to the chat. Okay, what do you do on the ship in your downtime? What do you do for fun?
We play babyfoot. We watch movies. We chat and learn all the science that is happening from other scientists on board. It's a great place also to start new projects. So scientists that don't work in the similar disciplines are connecting, and sometimes new projects are emerging from that. So it's really a great space when we can learn more about other people, about other culture, and other science that can be done in the Arctic.
All right, very cool. I've never heard babyfoot before for foosball. I think that's really, really cool.
Oh yeah, sorry. I think it's my translation from French.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's small football players. So yeah.
There's also people playing hacky sacks.
Okay, out on the deck.
On the LE deck.
Yeah.
So on the LE deck, there's no Wi-Fi. It's a great place to disconnect, and people are playing hacky sacks or just inventing some games there because it's outside and it's nice to be out in the sun. So yeah, it's a great place to relax.
Yeah, one of my favorite games on board the Nautilus was, especially when there was really good swell, was to see how far you could lean back and forwards. And you could, because of the way the ship was moving, you could lean back and forwards way further than you could. So that was a fun game. We like that game.
Yeah, I know that some people here are doing that on chairs, rolling chairs.
Okay.
So they see if they can roll all the way in some rooms. Yeah.
All
Not
right. Well,
very safe though, but yeah, it has to be safe.
that's right. That's important. Safety first.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you, okay. This is fun. Do you think that there'll be any new species discovered over on this journey?
Oh, I don't know. I think we're hoping to not discover, but observe some species that are not supposed to be at this specific area. So we can do that with the ROV. We are planning a specific dive to learn more about what species are living in this area. But I'm not sure if we will discover anything. Maybe, we'll see.
So when you say species that, like, do you think that those invasive species may have been brought there by humans, or do you think with maybe water temperatures warming that they're spreading further north?
Right now we're seeing some transformation in the Arctic because of the climate changes. And so scientists are observing some variation in populations and also migrations. So some species that are not supposed to be up north are now going north, or the opposite. So species that are coming here more south, that is not expecting to be there. So some scientists are on board, or watching that and studying all the movements here.
Yeah. So, and I think that's what's so important is for years, obviously, scientists have been collecting data in the Arctic, and we have that baseline, so we can really see how things are changing now.
Yeah. So this year on the ship, we have some programs that are looking at data and comparing them to all the previous data that we collected. But we also have some programs that are going to go in new spots that we haven't been before in the Queen Elizabeth Islands. And we are hoping to start collecting new data and to be able to start a new baseline to study the ecosystem in the future.
And are you on this expedition? Are you anticipating much ice, or did you intentionally pick this window of time because it would be relatively ice-free?
Yeah, we choose the right window of time to make sure that we have all the conditions to go there. But we never know. There's a lot of movement in the Arctic. The ice is moving a lot. So we won't be sure that we can go there until we're there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to ask that because I have a couple questions about how the icebreaker works. So how is it so strong? How is the hull so strong?
I'm not an expert, but I think it's the way it is built, very pointy.
Yeah.
So it can break the ice. But when we're using the ship to break the ice, we have to make sure that the ice is not too thick because we don't want to damage the ship hull. And when we are breaking ice, the ship is going on the ice and pushing with his weight the ice to make sure it breaks well.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up because I think a lot of students envision it kind of smashing through the ice when it's kind of more like a weight thing. We're kind of up. And,
exactly.
Yeah, very cool. Do you know offhand, what the maximum thickness is that the Amundsen can handle?
No, I don't know. And it really also, it depends also on the ship's weight because when we start our journey in the Arctic, we're a little bit heavier than at the end because we lose some fuel.
Yep.
We use fuel. And so at the start of the ship, we can break more thicker ice than at the end of the expedition. But I'm not sure how thick we can break and what's the maximum thickness to break the ice.
Okay. Well, Claire wants to know if when you take those the samples from the sediment, does it get messy on the ship?
Yeah, really. It gets really messy. And if you want to see an example of that, we have a video on our Amundsen Science Instagram page of scientists that really love muds and work and get the front deck all messy.
Yeah. And, I know there's a whole ecosystem in that sediment, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a whole ecosystem. There's a benthic species such as corals. There's also sea stars, a little bit of little shrimps, planktons, and not planktons. I'm sorry, but a lot of species right there. And there's also a lot of eDNA. So other people are taking muds to also analyze this eDNA. And other scientists are also taking mud to analyze the viruses and the bacteria that live in the sediment.
All right. So I'm just going to pop up this banner here. So if you do want to follow along Amundsen Science on Instagram would be a great spot. I have no doubt there'll be tons of cool video clips and such. And then how's your connectivity on board the ship? Are you able to send emails? Are you able to do some video calls with classmates while you're out on the ocean?
We have a better Wi-Fi out there than here because we're connecting here in Quebec City. And we can use the internet to chat with our family members. We can send emails, continue to work. We can also video chat and plan some live stream like this one. So
Yep.
we're planning another live stream to stream live dive that will be happening in Makovic on July 16th. So
Very
we can do
cool.
a lot of stuff with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's amazing. Here, I've got this handy in my office. We often take things like this into the field with us. We just stick them in our backpack and we can broadcast live anywhere in the world, and sometimes with better internet than our living rooms, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we another question here just came in from Caesar. If you're getting kind of big waves coming down, do you have to kind of run around the ship and make sure things are secured down tightly?
Yeah, exactly. So the crew members and our Amundsen science technicians are in charge of strapping everything to make sure that nothing is gonna break. The cook they also have to strap everything in the kitchen to make sure the knife stays at their places. And we always check the weather and the waves cast 24 hours prior, so we know what's gonna happen, or we think that we know what's gonna happen, and
Yeah.
we make sure that we are prepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no worse sound, I think, than when you're on a ship and you start to hear things crashing and breaking.
Yeah, no, you
not
don't
a
want to
good thing.
lose all your samples.
No, it's very important. Okay, I think we can maybe squeeze in one more question here before we sign off for today. And this, you showed those big, heavy doors at the beginning, and Tim is wondering if those doors ever get stuck.
No, I've never heard of it, but yeah, they are heavy, so sometimes it's difficult to close it really well, but I've never heard of these doors getting stuck.
All right. Well, this is a question from me, knowing how watches work on a ship. I'm curious how long your watch is, the time you're on and then the time you're off.
So this year I'm gonna be there for 28 days, but
Yeah.
I never know what my schedule is gonna be, because the Rosette, we are operating the Rosette at each station. So every time we stop somewhere, we're putting this tool down. So sometimes I can have a shift at 3:00 in the morning, and afterwards I have to come back at let's say 1:00 in the afternoon. So it really depends on what's gonna happen for the next 24 hours. But we are on a 24-hour night watch, so people are switching. Yeah, we're working every time of the day.
Okay. Oh yeah. But I mean, it's a 24-hour watch, but you'd be on like 4 hours or 6 hours at a time, something like that. Yeah,
exactly. I work with a colleague of mine here with the Rosette, and we're switching the shifts together.
Okay. You scared me for a sec. I thought you had to do a 24-hour watch and then a 24-hour break.
No.
I'm glad they're not that long. That's good. Okay. Well, this is exciting. What's the date for setting sail?
June 27th.
June 27th. Very exciting. Well, if anybody's tuning in from Quebec City, it'd be cool if they could go down. That's the last day of school. So maybe
sure, you can watch the ship's leaves. I think we're gonna do something to share the ship's departure on June 27th.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. Judith and Veronique, thank you so much. Judith behind the camera. Thank you for taking us onto the Amundsen. It is such a cool research vessel. And 5 months of science out in the Arctic. That's wow. I'm really jealous of the team getting to get out there, and I can't wait to see the results that come back.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off for today. Thank you so much to the classrooms for joining us. Those who will tune into the YouTube recording afterwards. And we're going to sign off for now. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.